Hello, everyone, and welcome to our preseason Big Brother Canada 6 cast preview draft hybrid. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Brent Wolgamott. How you doing, Brent?
Hey, everybody, ready for another season of Big Brother Canada. Taran, I cannot believe it. And by the way, Melissa, this is your first season of Big Brother Canada, or is it your second? I can't remember.
Second.
Okay. Well, honey, it all blends together after a while. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You don't remember the whole Karen situation at the end of last season?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the finale. Yeah, so the finale when I was in Disney World and I couldn't get service, and you three were just like giving me the stink eye because I was trying to make a case for Karen. Oh my God, yes, I remember it now. It all comes back to me.
Yes, also with me for the second time covering Big Brother Canada is Marissa. How you doing, Marissa?
That's enough, Taran. That season's over. We've moved on now, okay?
Hey, she's a winner. She's a winner.
Yes, but I'll be a winner in my own right when I'm on the show. Anyway, I'm very, very, very excited to do this draft. I've been looking forward to it for a while because this is the one I'm going to win. And everyone loves the underdog in Big Brother. And that's me right now. And I'm going to kill it this time.
It's true. If there is ever a draft that the underdog could win, it's probably Big Brother Canada's because it's so random and Big Brother Canada. But we'll have to see. So we are going to be talking about the Big Brother Canada 6 cast, and we will be simultaneously drafting these people onto our teams. For anyone that may not be aware, I am the reigning grand champion. I've won almost every single draft ever, and everyone loves me for it.
Yes, you know what? I actually kind of like it because it's a thing now. You know what I mean? Where like we have a hook where everyone's like, "Can he do it again?" Because we did Big Brother Celebrity, and people are like, "You know, it can't happen again," and then it did happen again. So
every single time, it's insane.
Yeah, you know, because it's funny because when it started, I feel like we were still podcasting with Jordan, and Jordan would always talk about like Taran, he's always winning these things, and I was like, look, you're making a bigger deal of it than you need to. But now it's just like I wanted to play into the role, but I've won so much now that I just feel like I don't even know what to do with myself anymore.
What's happening? What's happening to me?
Yes, well, we have the chat room open on RHAP-ups.com, so make sure you chat with us there. Let us know what you're thinking of our choices and of our assessments. So we're going to draft these people. How we've decided to do this, because there are 4 people that may or may not be in the final cast, is that if we include all 4 people, that makes 18 players. That means we can each draft 6. So all 4 of the potential house guests that may or may not be voted in will, in fact, be drafted onto our teams. So those 2 people will just be the first 2 people out of the game and first 2 people out of the draft. So that's how it'll work. And we'll do our draft in the way that we always do: 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, so on and so forth. So I guess I have to pick the order yet again.
Oh wow! Get off the cross. Somebody needs the wood.
Look, I've tried to pass it off before, but nobody lets me. But I think this time what we'll do is we'll have Brent number 1, Melissa number 2, I'll be number 3. So look, you give me the power, I'm gonna use it. That's how it works. So Brent, you have the number 1 pick on the board. Who are you going to choose?
Let me just say, before I announce who I'm going to pick, that this is the first season. I don't know if you two agree with me because I didn't talk to you about this before the show, but this is the first season in a long time where the women are a lot more interesting to me than the men. Some of the men, in fact, a lot of the men, I felt like were duds. And I felt like there were very, very few duds among the women. So my draft might look a little bit different than what it normally does. Hint, hint. But I am going to go with Paris as my number 1 pick. And there is good reason to pick Paris. Let me just tell you, she is a big fan of the show, 23 years old. She moved to Canada when she was 11, and she says her favorite players of all time are Netta. I like how she said it because she goes Netta from season 2 and Kevin from season 5, making sure she's not talking about Netta from season 5 and Kevin from season 3. You know what I'm saying? She just really impressed me. She spoke in complete sentences. She had a clear, coherent strategy for the game. The funny part that she said that made me think of myself was when she was like, I've tried to prepare for this game. I tried to do slide puzzles and Sudoku and things like this. I also wanted to physically get prepared for the game, like telling myself that I need to go to the gym 4 times a week, but that just didn't happen. I really tried. And I'm like, I'm totally with you there, sister. Like, that's exactly how I would be. She said that she was reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. She seems very, very hungry. There's only one other girl in the cast who I feel like is hungrier than her to win. The other thing that I kept coming back to is she kept talking about this as her one chance. Like, this is her one chance. She's not going to blow it up. So I hate the reality people that are looking beyond the game already. They're looking at their Instagram followers, or they're looking about fame and fortune, whatever they think is in their future. And this was all about her and this game that's right in front of her right now. So I really, really liked her attitude. I just want to make sure I don't forget anything about her. She said in answer as to why people. This is the thing that I like the most. She said in answer to when asked why people would want to ally themselves with her, she would frame it in such a way as to why she would be good for their game, always making it about them. So many people in this cast, when asked this same question, it was always about what they are and what they could bring to the table. But with Paris, and that is how you pronounce her name, correct? It's just like it's basically like the city in France. I thought that she was just so she had a bit of an understated strategy, but it's a very direct one in terms of she has an idea of what she wants to do, how she's going to win this game, and how to go about it. So I was very impressed by her, and I'm curious to see if you guys also liked her as well. Melissa.
Yeah, I liked her a lot. I thought that she seemed really intelligent and a huge fan of the game, which I love. She's a live feeder. She seemed there to play, and that she was preparing beforehand, which reminds me of what Kevin did last season in all of his preparations. So I thought that was cool. I liked that she said that she didn't need a showmance and she didn't want a showmance. So yeah, I was really impressed with her. My one concern with her is just that she might be seen as a threat early on. I hope not. I hope that she can lay low the first couple weeks, but who knows? Once you get in there, it's a totally different vibe. So I was nervous that people might see her as a threat and she might be an early out, but I hope not.
Taran, what about you? What do you think about Miss Paris?
I think this might be the first time in the history of drafting with Brent that I actually am disappointed that he managed to snag one of my top tier picks.
Interesting. Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
I love Paris. I think she has a lot of potential. She knows about the game really, really. She knows a lot about the game. There's a confidence to her. She talks about how she's kind of like an outsider, but she thinks she can kind of dress up and fit in with the cool kids as well, but also be able to maintain that connection to anybody that is an outsider. She has seen all the seasons. She's not into showmances. I mean, everything that you guys have said. And she's just like incredibly lovely, which does not hurt. So I am definitely rooting for Paris. I think she can do very well. Honestly, something that's been talked about is that there are some doppelgangers in this house, and a lot of people think that Paris looks a lot like Netta. Honestly, that might be her biggest disadvantage going into the house. If people make the connection that this is somebody that is like Netta, that she might overplay, she might be too smart for us. So that's the only thing I'm really concerned about with Paris.
The one thing that I also liked is that she talked about Kevin and Kevin's game and how he kept his cool when he was being attacked by both Ika and Karen at different times. She says that she's going to try to incorporate that into her game as well. Also, she wants to work on the first few weeks not winning the challenges, just building bonds with other people, making personal relationships that she can then personal relationships to the point where they are genuine, and then she can use those genuine relationships to further herself in the game. But she also said that she's not willing to keep people if they are a detriment to her game. Basically, she seems ruthless. with a really fun attitude, and I kind of like it. So what I was going to tell you was there were some sexier picks on the board. There were some more wild card picks on the board, but this is a new day, Taran. So we'll see what we can do with this pick of Paris as number 1.
I'm already nervous. All right, Melissa, what's going to be your pick? Number 2 on the draft board.
Please, Melissa, take whatever is number 1 on his board. If you can do it right now, that'd be so great.
I know, I wish. Paris is number 1 on mine as well. So
oh my God,
you got my number 1 pick. But this is so tricky because I told myself when I was preparing my list of my order that I was going to do something really different this year because nothing has worked in the past. And then I still did the exact same thing as I was drafting people. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't go crazier with this, but I'm gonna go with my gut and pick people and not listen to you guys ever again, because that's what got rid of Omarosa and that's what got rid of some other picks of mine. So anyway, I think my first pick is going to be Kayla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I liked her a lot. I liked her interview. She was a big fan of the show. She said she's athletic and so she could win competitions, and she seems to be there to win, which I really like. And you know, I was a little nervous about her because she talked about being in a showmance and she talked about, you know, being maybe too bubbly, but I could see her as being someone who could fly under the radar because she just seems friendly and nice and, you know, all that stuff, but could also win competitions. So I don't know. I just had a good feeling about her and I just decided to go with it.
Yes, Kayla is the Peely doppelganger, according to a lot of people. She says she's very athletic. She says she's in 3 words, she said she was adaptable, charismatic, and extremely competitive, which is 4 words, and you failed that test. She is a big super fan. So she talked a lot about how she was very bubbly, and she wants people to underestimate her because of that, and she expects people will underestimate her. But every time she mentioned that she was bubbly, she said in the same sentence that she's not actually what people assume of her. She's actually much stronger and much more competitive and all of that stuff. So to me, that signaled that she is, despite her strategy of saying, I'm just going to appear bubbly and super happy and like not a threat, I think she's not going to be able to help herself. I think that she is going to come into these competitions. She's going to perform really well in them because she's athletic. I think she's going to be very aggressive. And I think her shield of being bubbly is not going to be nearly as good at protecting her threat level as she thinks it is. Brent, what do you think?
Well, speaking of shields, the other thing that she said was she was going to make sure that she was either in a showmance or a flirtmance and to have the guy as a shield. I like specifically that she used that word because we always use that word where she's talking about, you know, I'm going to be in a relationship with the guy and obviously they're going to get rid of the guy over me. I also will disagree about what you said about the fact that she may be targeted or at least revealed the fact that she's so physical early on. Obviously, that's a possibility, but I don't feel like women really get targeted too much for being physical unless they really, really start to kill the challenges, you know, one after the other to the point where people can't, they just can't refute it anymore. You know, they have to give it up to them that they're doing that well. I just thought that she was amazing. By the way, she was my number 3 pick, by the way. So I really, really liked Kayla. I said that she was really well-spoken. Again, somebody who speaks in complete sentences. She wasn't somebody who gave really short answers to the questions. By the way, I'm going to just segue for a second really quickly. For those of you people that watch the ET Canada interviews, I'm going to give something a bit of a hot take and maybe not a very popular one. I actually liked the fact that Carlos was doing the interviews and not Aika. And I'll tell you why. Because I love Aika. She's queen to me. But with Aika tends to gab a lot with the contestants. And so it may be more entertaining to watch, but I don't get as much out of it because as she is talking to someone, they will give an answer and then she'll relate it back to what her experiences were in the house, or she'll, ask other follow-up questions to it. And I don't get to the meat of a lot of what I want to know. Carlos obviously was a lot more detached from the experience of Big Brother Canada, but I felt like I was getting more answers, more quality answers. And even though it was a little drier, I actually preferred him doing the interviews. So I'll just put that out there right away. And with Kayla was somebody specifically where I felt like we got to a lot of the answers. She was one of the few women who said that her physical game is going to be her strongest. Usually the women are talking about their social game as their strongest. She's a lifelong fan. She's a feeder. She's willing to do anything to win. And she's not going to be in a women's alliance. She said girls are catty. There's somebody else in this cast that also said that, but I love the way they said it. And when we get to them, I LOL'd. I was like, oh my God, that is so funny. Yeah, big, awesome pick. And I like her a lot.
I feel like there were a lot of women that said, no, I'm not into working with other women. And there was one woman who said, no, I would love to work with other women. So I don't know.
But I feel like they were trying to make them say that. I don't know. I feel like the questions were phrased in a way that were like, oh, women's alliances don't work. Are you going to work with them or something? And it's just like, right. I don't know. I just felt like they were trying to get the girls to be like, I don't want to work with girls. I don't know. But
and they never asked the guys, like, do you want to be in a guy's alliance? Do you want to bro down? They never, ever ask that. Totally a double standard.
Why
Taran,
do
we
they
should
always
call them out.
Yeah, why do they always ask girls? And why is there this stigma about all women alliances never work when there's been a billion guy alliances that were just all guy alliances that totally flamed out and didn't work?
There was a women's alliance that worked. We remember Big Brother OTT. Hello,
the Ball Smashers, the best women's alliance of all time.
Thank you. Such a women's alliance, really great, successful women's alliance, and nobody ever talks about it, even though it produced a winner. Anyway, go ahead. Moving on.
I completely agree. I think that basically there was one successful guys alliance in the brigade, and now it's like, oh well, guys can work together, but the women can't. I don't think that's true. I think Big Brother 4, even you can say that was a successful women's alliance as well, even though it came late in the game. But I got a Jillian vibe from Kayla. I feel like she is going to be, because Jillian was also somebody that you might label quote unquote bubbly, which was used quite often in Kayla's descriptions of herself, but was also somebody that was very physical and very aggressive. So I really feel like she may play a Jillian-esque game, and that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, especially if she does get into a showmance.
Okay, well, Taran, you have the number 3 and the number 4 pick. Who is your first selection?
All right, so I think first I am going to go with Maddie.
Maddie.
Yes.
All right.
Maddie, I had an interesting relationship with my perception of Maddie because I read her bio. And she's talked about being vengeful, manipulative, passionate. Talks about wanting to have a hand in every single HOH. She's used to knowing everything about everyone. And I was like, man, this is she's coming on strong here. This might be a bit too much. She's a super fan. This is her 5th time auditioning. But then when I watched the ET Canada interview with her, she seemed way more chill than I expected her to be. And it made me think, like, as a 5th time auditioner, the bio was probably what she has honed over the course of 5 years of auditioning, and the interview is probably a bit more what she is like in the house itself. So I really liked what I saw from there. She said she started at season 14, went back, watched all of the seasons. She knows that you're supposed to start with season 2 and not season 1. I think that's the true sign of a super fan. She talked about how people are huge variables in the game, more so than anything else, and that's very true. And it's something that not a lot of people talk about. Twists are obviously a huge variable, but the people you end up getting put in there with are a huge variable that you have no control over. I like the way she's thought about that. One weird thing about her was that she talked about how she thinks she needs a showmance, but there's no way she would let her feelings get involved. I'm not sure about this. She recognized that it would be a controversial opinion, and I guess it is. I'm not sure how she thinks she's going to be in a showmance but not actually have any feelings, and I'm also not sure why she thinks she needs one for sure. But we'll see. I liked that she talked about how there's no room for morals and ethics in Big Brother. Nothing is off the table. She's very hungry for the money. She wants to give all of it to her dad to thank him for his raising her as well as he did. And I really got the vibe that she could go too aggressive. She was talking a lot, but I like a lot of what she talked about. And I have this theory about what's been happening with these bitter juries, where a lot of these people talked about needing to maintain integrity, and you need to play this game with morals, and you can't cross certain lines. And I think those people are much more likely to lose to a bitter jury than the people that are saying, nah, it's fine, it's a game, everything's in bounds. And that's because the people who go in knowing it's a game are much more likely to own their games at the end of the day. And so for that reason, and many others, Maddie is my pick here.
Excellent. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, I liked Maddie. I liked Maddie a lot. I liked that she was a super fan. And I liked that she said in her interview that she wanted to emulate Andy's game. I thought it was cool that she talked about, how he's always in the room and he's always, in the conversation, and people all trusted him. And so I liked the fact that she did play like a really unique, good game. So I was impressed with that. I did, agree with Taran that I think it's very odd that she keeps stressing that she needs a showmance. Like, why do you need a showmance? Like, if it's because you think you can't win the physical challenges, like, why don't you just befriend a guy or become in an alliance with a guy? Like, why do you need the showmance part of it? I don't know. It just seems like a little odd that she keeps stressing that. I wonder if it's like her way of making it acceptable for everyone to be like, oh, she's doing this for the game when she like gets into showmance. I really don't know, but I thought it was really weird as she kept saying she needed it, and I didn't really like that. But overall, I liked her a lot.
Yeah, this is somebody who I really liked as well. I had her number 6 on my draft board. And what I can say for Maddie is that, I mean, on paper and in the interview, gosh, her game looks great. But in the actual house, I really wonder how it's going to be. She does seem at times that she can be a little bit intense. There was somebody else in the cast who I felt like maybe was coming off a little bit intense and maybe was not self-aware enough to realize that. Obviously, being such a fan as she is, I'm not surprised that season 14 of Big Brother US was the one that hooked her, because that's one of my favorite seasons as well. And then she went back and watched everything. So to me, that qualifies her as a super fan. But I am a little worried about her that she can seem intimidating. I did literally fall out of there 2 times where I literally fell out of my chair laughing. And this was one of them where she said, I don't need a showmance, or I don't, what did she say? I don't want a showmance. I need a showmance. And I just, the way she said it was like totally caught me off guard. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I'm here for different styles of play. I'm here for people experimenting. I mean, it is a social experiment after all. So why not? Why not play like this and just willing to, cut the boys off, at the balls and leave them crying. So I'm cool with that. So let's see if she can do it.
All right. Another final word on Maddie is that knowing what I know about Kirsten, I think that Kirsten is going to get along really well with Maddie. That's my prediction. If Kirsten ends up in the house, I think the two of them will form a bond. I think they'll work together if it's a possibility. So that's a Taran preseason prediction. So I have the next pick as well, and this is a bit of a tough one for me. I'm in between really 3 or 4 different people, but I think that I'm going to go with.
I thought you had this all written down. See, I have my order.
It's really order. The trick here is that I'm trying to think, who would the two of you pick more, like who are the two of you more likely to pick of these people, so that I can get the next one on the way back. But I think I'm gonna go with.
He's malfunctioning, folks. I don't know.
Yeah, what's happening here? I've never seen Taran waver like this.
Johnny. I'm gonna go with Johnny.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, that's fine.
That's no, that's. I will tell you, I had Johnny at number 4, and you picked him at number 4.
Johnny at number 14.
Oh my.
Wow, okay, well, good. We have something to talk about then.
Yeah.
So I really liked Johnny. I think that he is very well spoken. He's very charismatic. I think that he talks about he is a bit of an outsider. He's probably not going to fit into the alpha dude alliance, and I think there are a lot of alpha dudes in this game. But he's going to work hard to work against them, and that's either going to work very well in his favor or very much against his favor. I think that. He talks about being very prepared. He gave me a little bit of a Mitch Moffat vibe. And he wants to find like a secret alliance partner to really work with that's on the same level as him. I just a lot of good positive things coming from Johnny that I really enjoyed. The only thing is that that kind of came out of left field in his ET Canada interview. All of a sudden, Carlos, I guess, was the interviewer, was asking him about like Wicca. And like he was talking about how everyone has magic inside of them. And in the history of Big Brother Canada, the people that are very like spiritual and like you've got magic and stuff, they tend to be the first boots. I feel like that's happened at least twice. And so that worries me. It's just like there's some kind of curse there that I'm worried about. There's some kind of bad magic happening. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I think Johnny might be a first boot, but I think he also has a lot of potential. So that's why I'm picking him. Brent, what did you think of Johnny?
And he is very well aware of the fact that he could be a first boot. I really liked that about him because I've always said if I went into the house that this is exactly how I would play. Like totally self-aware that there's a very real possibility that I could be the first one gone, and how am I going to deal with that when that happens? Because everything else after that is gravy if you make it past the first boot. So I think someone on YouTube, and I don't know the commenter, but they said if Sarah Hanlon and Kevin Martin had a baby, this is who it is. And I have to agree with him because he seems like he has the social game of Sarah Hanlon. Obviously looks a little bit like her with the glasses and just the way he carries himself, but he has a very analytical mind when it comes to the game, so much so that he does remind me of Kevin Martin. The thing about the Wicket definitely did make me a little nervous because I'm thinking about all of the kooky people that have gone out first in Big Brother's history, but he doesn't seem kooky. He seems very charming and very self-aware, and he understands that there are parts of him that do not mesh well with other people, and he gets that. Like the fact that he's so self-aware at a relatively young age. I don't have his age on my paper, but I know he's younger than I am. How's that? So he seems like a really, really swell guy. And the one thing that I didn't care for was that he talked about, absolutely no alpha male alliances, not on my watch. We already have that enough in society. We don't need that in the house, to a point where I'm like, well, what if it's strategically beneficial for you? Might it be a possibility then? And he didn't really want to entertain that option. So it seems to me that he might not be very adaptable. He might have a social mission in the house. And that's all well and good if you can pull it off. But if the cards aren't there, then the cards aren't there to pull it off. And I do worry that he might let that get in the way. Like, I don't need you to go on and prove a social point in the house. I need you to go on and win the damn game, Johnny. So if you can just do that, that'd be great. Okay, Melissa, why didn't you like this guy?
I mean, I hope I'm proven totally wrong, but he seemed very odd to me. Just very odd. And like, I at first liked him because he talked about being a fan and all that, but I think he really lost me at the fact that he's a house husband. And when asked what that was, he's like, I cook, I clean, I provide the love. Like, so you're unemployed. Like, you don't have kids, so you're not a stay-at-home dad. You're just
take exception to that.
I don't know. That's just what I got from him. And then he's Wiccan, and he like was talking about how he constantly has ideas and crazy daydreams going on in his head. And now and they're all manipulative stuff and all this crazy like evil stuff. And now he's just going to turn it towards the game. And that's what's going to happen. And then he has and he talks about like being in one with nature. And I just don't know if he's going to fit in with people. And I don't know if he wants to fit in with people. So I was like, no, I got to get away from this guy. I don't see him winning. So yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I'm very bad at this, clearly. So it's totally possible that, he's going to win and I'm going to be a total idiot when I look back on this, but who knows? I honestly, I couldn't do it. I couldn't pick him, but I do like that he's a fan. And so that I like that.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Melissa, you have the next pick here.
Okay. I am going to go for Jesse.
Jesse.
And I liked him a lot. He's a fan of the game. I don't know if he's a super fan, but he's a fan. And he seems really likable, easy to get along with. And he says he's not going to sit back. He's going to make moves. And I liked that in the interview where they asked, would you rather be a fan favorite or be known for your gameplay? He was like one of the few people who picked, I'd want to be known for my gameplay. So that made me happy with him. And he, I just feel like he's going to fit in well with people and be very unassuming, but also be able to win when he needs to. And so, yeah, I just felt like he was a strong pick especially for this group. So.
Taran, what did you think of Jesse? No. Oh, sorry. You were going to be nice. Okay. Sorry.
Well, I was not super high on Jesse. He has the generic boring thing going for him, which tends to, get you halfway through the game most of the time in Big Brother. But I feel like there are a decent amount of generic boring guys on this cast. So that may work against him. He was a big fan, and I think that is in his to his advantage. He says he's charismatic. He says he's sly. But when I watched the interview with him, it was just like there wasn't any spark there to me. He just seemed very boring. He didn't seem to take social cues super quickly either. Like when Carlos was making a joke or didn't understand what he was saying and tried to ask for clarification, Jesse didn't quickly pick up on what he was trying to get at. And Shrewd Canadian says, got no charisma from him. And I got that too. I didn't really get the charisma he was talking about.
I got it.
All right. So
maybe you're not his target audience.
That's probably true. Brent, what did you think?
Well, I'll break the tie, and unfortunately, Melissa, I'm going to have to go with Taran on this one. I thought this guy was pretty boring. I mean, his accent, and he doesn't even have the worst one in the cast, but his accent from being from Saskatoon, I guess, was definitely very interesting to me. He reminds me of Zach from Big Brother Canada 3. He just seems nice, Captain America, super bland, inoffensive. I can't imagine going out before the jury, but again, this is for those of you who have forgotten, this is a must-win draft. It doesn't even matter if they make the final two. So if I had picked Karen last year, I would have lost. So you have to win the game in order to win the draft. And I just don't think guys like this can win very often. The one thing I will just say this as a quick aside. He kept saying this, and he not only said it, but then he wrote it down on paper, or maybe they transcribed it. But, like if you see an opportunity go by, you say, I don't want to pass up that opportunity. He for some reason, he has picked up where he says, I don't want to pass down that opportunity.
I noticed that too.
No sense in the world.
I was like, did he just say pass down?
He passes down like his genes. He's passing down.
Passing down to the next generation.
I don't know. Anyway, like I said, I'll give him this. He was funny at times to the point where I was like, sort of, a little more interested in him. He seems to me like he could be like a secret nerd. Like he's, he looks like a jock, but there are elements to him that maybe are a little bit nerdy, and he could, allies with somebody like Johnny, for instance. There's somebody else in the cast who I think might do a better job of that. But nevertheless, I feel like he has elements within him that could be successful in this game. But as far as winning, I don't see it. Without the 4 gate crashers, I actually had him at number 11 on my list. So
we really have different. We each have different opinions this year.
Well, I like it that I'm with Taran and not you, because we've been losing, and I'm
true.
I don't like that Brent is with me. This is very bad for me. It's normally a huge part of my strategy that Brent is always disagreeing with me.
Jose for the win.
Yes.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, Brent, you have the next 2 picks. So who is going to be your next pick here?
Okay, this is getting really tough because I have two people who are really good picks. In fact, there's a little bit of a divide between these 2 people and the rest. However, I didn't know what we were going to do with the 4 gate crashers coming into this draft. So, do I want to slot one of them into one of these spots here, considering I have 2 picks? Because I don't know if one of those gate crashers will be there when it gets back to me. But on the other hand, to pick one of those gate crashers almost seems like that would be like my wet dream. Like that couldn't really happen that she could win, Big Brother Canada. So I don't know what to do. I'm a little torn. I'll make it easy. I'll just go with the first pick because I know I'm going to pick her. I loved Allie. I loved Allie. She was my number
pick.
She was my number 2 pick on the board. I loved everything about her. The funny part is that she was the first interview that I watched, and I really found it hard to be impressed with other people after I watched her. She's a big fan of the show, 3-time applicant. This is the part where I literally fell out of my chair. She's like, I will not be in an all-females alliance. He said, why? She's like, because they're females. As if it's just obvious. She was like, a big fan of the show, but she's very wary of being seen as a bully. That seemed like she may have really taken some of the lessons of Big Brother 19 to heart, and she wants to be more like Jess and Cody, less like Paul and Raven. She will not stand for anything like that. She says that if it happens on her season, she's a big fan of Ica, like so many other people. Like Ica is the new Parvati of Big Brother Canada, by the way, ever since last season. She thinks that Ica is her spiritual guide. She's a personal trainer, physically fit. When asked her favorite player of all time, she said all of Big Brother. So I like that she was at least thinking beyond the bounds of, the current game that she's playing. She reminds me a little bit of Neha, but way less intense and a whole lot warmer. And I am excited to watch her play.
Melissa, what did you think of Allie?
I liked her a lot too. She was going to be my next pick. I like that she's a super fan, and I like that she wants to be like Ica, kind of, because that can also be a problem. But she seems really strategic. She seems like she knows the game well. I like that she's applied before to be on the show. The only thing that concerned me was she said she's really loud, and I feel like that could draw a lot of unnecessary attention to her if she decides to, make a scene or do anything. So I was a little nervous that she said that, but overall I liked her a lot, and I think she has a good chance of going pretty far.
Yeah, I think she has a good shot, but I was also concerned about the loud factor. She also she seemed okay in the interviews, but she had some things in her bio that concerned me. One was that she talked about like, oh, if you know me and I love you, then like if I know you and I love you, then I'm fiercely loyal. But I only surround myself with good people. I don't like bad energy, which tells me I don't know how experienced she is with dealing with people that she doesn't really get along with well. And if she's used to just having people that she likes around her, she may have difficulty dealing with the stress of the Big Brother house without getting loud and pushing some buttons. So I'm a little bit wary about that with her. She talks about like trying to lay low, but she's another person where it's just like you say that, but it doesn't seem like you actually are going to be able to follow through with that. She was another person that was also concerned about like integrity in the game, which in this day and age concerns me because these people that are worried about integrity feel like they're much less likely to own their game, and I don't like that. So I was a bit mixed on Allie myself.
Excellent. All right. It is the time for me to pick the 7th person in the draft, and I am so torn, just being honest, because I really feel like this one person could go far and make it, but on the other hand, I feel like it's just a really bad look for me to go this far and for her not to be picked. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Kirsten at number 7, and I feel like it should be pretty obvious why. She is a massive fan of the show. Like I didn't even have to watch her video to know this about her. She's a massive fan of the show. Live feeder, live tweeter, goes to Big Brother Canada tapings. Alex Kidwell always said it best. I feel like when you have seen the game before and you know the game, you have such a leg up on the rest of the cast. Now, having said that, there are a lot of people in this cast that know the game, but not everybody. There are a lot of people who don't really know the game very well. There are some recruits in the game. So I feel like that she already has a leg up on those people. I think it sort of goes without saying, and don't let me stop you from voting for whoever you want, but I feel like she has a good shot to get into the house, and if she gets into the house, I know that she will flash back to Allison from Big Brother Canada 2, and let me just say that Allison had a shot to win that game, and she blew it, so I don't feel like Kirsten's going to make the same mistake. I feel like she's willing to cut anybody that she needs to get what she wants. I did write down some things about her really quickly. Let me just say really quick. Oh, the thing that I liked about her the most is that she wants to be second in command, which I mean, I could never play like this, but I love people that do, because it always reminds me of Ethan from Survivor Africa, where he was always second in command, or, just you're never going to be voted out if you're second in command, but you always have all of the information that everybody else does. The trick is to being able to win from a position like that. She's open to working with the females. She says no showmance. She has a boyfriend, and she's not going to bring the real world into the house. I feel like she knows what mistakes not to make when it comes to the live feeds and what to say. So, I'm all for it. And let me just say really quickly, since we're talking about Kirsten right now, I don't know her that well, and I'm excited to cover her. And I'm going to spill the tea just like I always do. So if she makes a boneheaded move, I'll call her out for it. For those of you who don't remember, and I tweeted this already today, Jordan Parhar was a patron of Rob as a Podcast, and he had actually called into Rob's shows a few different times, and we knew he was a patron going into Big Brother Canada 3. And when he was evicted, no one could have been happier but me, because I was so psyched he was evicted and that Godfrey was saved, because it needed to happen. That alliance needed to be taught a lesson. The diapers needed to be dealt with. And if she gets into a bad spot, then I might root against her, but for right now, I'm rooting for her. I want her to have her chance, and I'm going to call him as I see him. So, Melissa, what do you think about Kirsten?
Yeah, I'm very excited to have a super fan on the show. I mean, a lot of people say like, "Oh, I'm a super fan," but you never really know how dedicated they are to it, because a lot of people call themselves super fans, and really they've just like watched a few episodes. So it is exciting to have somebody on the show who really knows it and who's talked about it and who basically lives it. So that's really exciting to see. She knows the pitfalls, she knows what she needs to do. I'm just a little concerned because she's coming in late, and it's hard to mix and mingle with people who already have a bond. And also you're an easy target, because people will be like, well, why not just kick the new people out? It's the easiest thing to do. That way we have no blood on our hands. Like, we don't even know these people. So I'm a little concerned with her for that. And also the fact that, her interviews were a little stilted, maybe a little awkward. I don't know her personally. I mean, I know her through Twitter and stuff like that, but I've never podcasted with her, and I've never met her in real life or talked to her outside of, the screen. And so I don't know how she behaves with people. I don't know how easy it is for her to make friends, or how sociable she is. I really don't know. So just judging straight from her interview, it seems like she might have a little bit of trouble, especially if she's coming in late. But I mean, who knows?
Taran, I will say that Allison White was given immunity when she was entering the house during Big Brother Canada 2. I don't know for sure, but I think it's a fair guess to say that they might be given immunity if they enter the house late. It gives you some time to, as Jeff would say, integrate yourselves back into the game. I'm thinking about the outcast twist from season 7 of Survivor. And the other thing too is she's so smart, because I didn't realize this. Somebody just pointed out in the chat room, she deleted her Twitter, at least deactivated it. So, anything that she might have said, as we all do at times, on Twitter that might be screen capped by the fans, she made sure that shit was shut down. So
very smart.
Yeah, she's a smart person.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can officially say if Kirsten ends up losing, it is now Brent's fault that he didn't let Kirsten fall to me. I think Kirsten can be a very good player. I probably know her the best of the three of us, but I don't know her amazingly well. We've talked a few times, we've met a few times, and we've podcasted together a few times. And my biggest concern with her is the fact that she's coming in late. I think I might have considered picking her earlier, if not for this scenario. And I think one of the main issues is that not only is she coming in a week late, but the fact that she is, been labeled a devil, quote unquote, a devil. And there's the angel pick and the devil pick. And I don't know how much Big Brother Canada is going to portray her as the devil to the rest of the players, but if she comes in wearing red next to a guy that's wearing white or something, even, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's just, this was the devil pick for the women, that's going to paint an image of her that she's never going to shake off. That's the first impression. Someone coming in late, she's supposed to be a villain. She's a big fan of the game. I think that's going to be hard to overcome. And so I'm very concerned about that for her chances. That said, I do think that she has a quality to her that can be very valuable in a Big Brother game, which is that she is very capable of getting along with all kinds of different people. She is one of the more popular people in the RHAP patron group. She gets along with everyone. I can't find anyone that has a bad word to say about her.
Very true.
You know, there are very quiet people who love her because she's great friends with them. There are very vocal people who love her and she's great friends with them. I have friends that are very good friends with her. And even when she's talking to me, I feel like I can relate to her. She can relate to me. That's probably pretty difficult. I don't know how easy I am to get along with.
Terrible. Disaster.
So I do think that she will be able to relate to everybody in the house. I think that she'll find a way to relate to them, and I think that's a very valuable skill. I think she knows the game very well, so I think she can do well there. But again, I'm worried about the fact that she's coming in late, that she might be labeled a devil, and you know, you never know. Again, she didn't ask me for advice, so there's all kinds of pitfalls that she could fall into because of that. So
who'd she ask for advice? Edmo? Ligori? Oh my God, she's doomed. Doomed,
I know,
I
right?
tell you.
All right. Well, Melissa, you have the next pick here.
All right. My next pick is going to be Andrew.
All right.
Okay.
Andrew.
I liked his interviews. He knows the show. He says he even goes on the subreddit. So I feel like he's a big fan of the show, and he seems really easy to talk to and really easy to get along with. And he seems like he would do a good job mixing in with people. And I just feel like, and also I thought he was pretty funny. So I don't know. I got a good vibe from him, and I think that he could do pretty well and also not be too out there in the front, but also wanting to make big moves because he's a fan. So, you know, I'm picking him and I like him.
I like Andrew a lot. I think he's very funny. A lot of people called themselves charismatic and charming in their bios, in their interviews. I think almost every single person said they were charismatic and charming.
I thought it was really weird how people did that. Like,
yes,
it was like, why did you get cast on the show? And they're like, I'm likable, I'm charming, I'm charismatic, I'm beautiful. Like, you're like, okay, we get it. You love yourself. Like, I think there's probably other reasons why you were cast, but okay.
When you have to call yourself charismatic, it just feels like, I don't know.
Falls flat.
But Andrew is one of those people that I do feel like he does have a charm to him. I don't know if I'd go like full charismatic, but I think he's a very charming guy. He was very sarcastic, very funny. I think he'll be fun. I think he'll be a good character. I think he'll be a fan favorite. I don't know how well he'll do fitting in. That's my only concern. He seems very much like the dad type. And when you are that type on Big Brother, it's hard to fit in with the younger, cool kids. And, you know, it's hard to really get more than just like one or two other close people to you socially, because it's harder to relate to you if you're, you know, this, he's not even that old. He's only 36, but he
right.
his family a lot, or his wife a lot. And he just seems, I mean, even like his humor, like he has dad jokes. Like, I feel like that's the biggest dad factor. So I think that he will be fun, but I think he will be somebody that's probably on the outside of a big alliance for most of the game. And I'm not sure he'll be able to, you know, be the power player that breaks through that. So that's my concern with Andrew. What do you think, Brent?
Well, the thing I can say the most positive about him is that in a must-win draft, he at least took your advice, Taran, and was talking about, you know, hey, it's just a game. It's not about integrity. You know, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a game. I'm willing to do anything to get to the end and do what it takes to win. So I don't feel like he's going to be one of these people that gets to the end and doesn't own his game. He was very, very sweet. He doesn't seem like a sneaky guy to me at all. So I'm hoping that he can hold on to that, because that is invaluable in a game like this. If people don't think you're thinking about the game, then they're going to keep you around because they are thinking about the game. The one thing that he said that really made me LOL was when he said that he's going to align with the pretty girls just to pass the time. And I was like, I But I can totally dig it. Like I can totally see me like broing down with like some of the straight boys. Like just to look at him and pass the time. I can see that, and I would be called thirsty on Twitter, and I would deserve it. So I feel like he's a little thirsty, and I know he's got a family, but he can you don't say things like I'll align with the pretty girls just to look at them and pass the time. If you're not just a little bit thirsty. He's aware that big guys don't normally win challenges. He says he's born to win this game or born to play this game. So I feel like he is at least at the super fan, maybe minus level. I don't know exactly how much he said he's watched. Taran, did you know how much Big Brother he's watched? Has he watched all of it? He says he studied the game, knows how to adapt, but I didn't really get a sense of how much he's watched.
Yeah, a lot of them said they were fans, but not a lot of them pointed to specifically how much they watched, and I didn't have it written down for him.
Well, look, here's the thing I can say. That he seemed like he had a well-oiled handle on the game to a point where he knew what to do. He knows what he's capable of. He knows what his weaknesses are. I still feel like I'm asking myself, can this guy win the game? Can he actually get himself to the end and win? Because if he's a big enough threat where he could win the jury votes, he might have to win a challenge at the end, and I don't like his odds in that case. So I had him at number 9 on my list, and it's sort of middle of the road for me. So kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, I do think he is the kind of person that would win if he got to the end, but I also think he's the kind of person that everybody would know that he wins if he gets to the end. So nobody's taking him, and it's going to be hard to win his way there. And so that's the concern. That's the typical role I feel like he fits in. I think he might sort of be like the Kevin from Big Brother US of Big Brother 19, but a bit more savvy to the game, I think, than Kevin was. So there's that at least. But I have the next 2 picks here.
Oh boy.
And I did manage to get one of these guys safe through the wreckage of you guys' picks. I'm gonna pick Derek here as my third guy. Yes, Derek. Derek is somebody that he was the only person that I watched, one of the only people that I watched where he didn't even say he was charismatic in one of his 3 words, which is a rarity in and of itself. But he did ultimately say he was charismatic once in his bio. But he was one of the few people that I was like, oh, this guy is genuinely charismatic, and he doesn't even need to say it. You feel that he's charismatic. He is a likable guy. He seems like a good guy. Kind of like a boring guy, but he has a likability to him that I think none of the other guys have. And I think that he can do really well in the game if people, especially because there are so many other, there's Jesse, there's William, there's, Hamza, there's a lot of other guys that I think are going to be more aggressive than him and stand out as bigger targets potentially. So I like Derek's position here. I think he will get along with everyone. And his only issue really is that he is so potentially likable that I think he might come off as a big threat down the line. But I like his chances. I think Derek is a strong contender here. What do you think, Brent?
Yeah, I had him at number 5. He was the guy, actually, I was vacillating between him and Kirsten. So I really, really liked Derek. There is one thing in his bio and in his interview that I didn't really care for, the fact that he's basically an Instagram whore. He calls himself that, and he sure seems like it. I mean, is he like Elena, and he's more here to make what he perceives as the right move rather than what the correct move is in the game? I don't want somebody to play like that, where they're playing for what they think the fans want. I mean, it seems like such a bit of a misnomer, because I've said similar things. Like, I like the way Karen played in Big Brother Canada 5, and she also played for the fans, but she had a handle on what I felt like the fans wanted. And I don't know, like Elena during Big Brother 19 ever did. She just played kind of safe just to make it through another week, thinking that by being there another week, she's going to gain more Instagram followers. And I feel like this guy might be the same way, where in reality, what the fans want and what can, you can go out second or third week and be labeled a king or a queen if you make a big move and do what the fans want you to do, or what needs to be done in the house right now. So I don't know if he knows that. But positively, I'll talk about the positives. I did like the way he interacted with the interviewer, Carlos. I thought he was very, very unassuming. I wouldn't think that he was plotting against me. He seems very easy to talk to. I think he was the guy who said, I could talk to the women, I could talk to the gays, I could talk to, an old person and, develop a bond with them that was genuine. And he seems like a good listener too. He wasn't one of these people that just filled up the room with his answers. He had a quiet confidence about him, which came off as charismatic to me, but he also didn't feel like he needed to shout it to the world. And so that's why I enjoyed him very much. I really think he has a shot. He seems like a Jared from, oh God, is it BB Can 4?
Yep.
Yeah. Jared from BB Can 4 with a lot more personality.
Yeah.
I when I saw his ET interview, I really loved him. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy I'm going to pick. He's going to be my number one. He's awesome. Like, cause he's so like low key, but really easy to get along with and charming. And, not to mention he's like super cute and the girls are going to love him. And so he's going to get in a showmance and he's going to go really far and he's going to be likable. So he's going to like make it to the end. But then I like looked at his other interviews and I was like very turned off because he's not a fan of the show.
Right.
He's I literally put like cute, seems like he'll get along with people. And then I said, oh, ... He's a fashion blogger. Never mind. And then he said, I'm an Instagram whore. And he kept mentioning his Instagram and his clothing line. And in that one written out interview, I forgot what it's from. And so it makes me think he just wants followers. Additionally, he said he wants to do pranks in the house. And
we love those.
The worst. And so I literally was like, I wrote down like Shark Tank style, like, and for that, I said he wants to do pranks. And for that reason, I'm out. I literally like I can't do it. I really liked him at first. So I was so bummed because I thought like, he'd be really fun to watch and he's cute. And I was like, into him. And then I was not into him anymore when I then looked at his Instagram and it was just all him, just like posing in hats and stuff. And I was just like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do it.
What was his Instagram name?
Yeah, for the draft purposes.
just for research purposes.
Just totally research related.
Well, look, I agree with you that, obviously he's not a fan. He's like my mom. He's like, watched a couple episodes and, maybe watched a few to brush up now that he's going in the house. However, as we saw in Big Brother Celebrity, you don't even need to be a fan of this game if you have the personality and the wherewithal to be able to play it well. And there were some people who came into the house of Big Brother or Celebrity Big Brother who I felt like had no chance whatsoever and played really, really, really well, mighty games. So, obviously knowing the game gives you a leg up, Taran, but it's not the end all and be all because there are a lot of people who know the game who, couldn't play their way out of a hat. Well, I was going to spoil something from Survivor, but never mind. Go ahead.
No, honestly, like I was all for it, even though he wasn't a fan of the game until he talked about the Instagram thing. And it was just like, I don't want to be like, rooting for someone who's only there. He just didn't seem like he really cared about winning. He seemed that he like wanted to be there in the end and it'd be cool to win, but he didn't care about playing Big Brother or winning Big Brother. And I really hope that changes. I totally hope that changes. And I hope that like once he's in the house, he actually really plays hard and wants to win. And he doesn't just like shout out his Instagram all the time. I'm really hoping for that. But yeah, maybe I just have like PTSD from when like we had BB19 and everyone was like shouting out their Instagrams and starting YouTube channels and like their Twitter and stuff. And I just don't want to have that.
All right. Well, I have the next pick as well. This is another one that's kind of difficult for me, but I think I'm going to go with Erica as my next pick. The Willow doppelganger, and man, even just listening to her, she sounds like Willow. It's pretty crazy. But I liked some of what I saw from Erica. She does want to lay low early, get along with everyone. She likened herself to like a lapdog. She's like very loyal and energetic. I think that's a good image to have in the Big Brother house. I think that Willow had a lot of potential to go far. She was well regarded with the right people, and and she had the connections to go far. She unfortunately just kind of got sniped in the triple and never got a chance to like really come to her own. So if Erica plays anything like Willow, I think she'll have a very good shot. She is somebody who talked about caring about integrity. That concerned me a little bit. And she's just overall just a little bit hard to read. But I like what I see from Erica. I think she's somebody that can fit in with everybody in the house. And I think that she's somebody that's going to be competitive enough and social enough that she can potentially do well here. What do you think, Brent?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, you faded out for a second. Hated her, honestly. She's in my bottom 3. This is terrible. I really thought she was terrible. The thing about her is that she doesn't seem like that she has a well thought out plan. She just wants to wing it, and that really concerned me. She's not a fan of the game. She's only watched it for like a year now. I think she watched a little bit last season, and then her girlfriend forced her to go to the casting call, and she didn't want to go to the casting call. But I love it. Don't you just love it like this when people, they don't even want to go to the casting call? And they're like, and then they get on the show. Yeah, that's just great. I love that. She seemed intimidated at times. The other thing is she talks about being a feminist and using the house as a platform and educating the house. Not exactly what I want to hear when you're talking about winning a game that depends on social relationships. And she wants to make herself proud, not other people. I did like that about her. And she also seemed like she seems hesitant to stab somebody in the back. They asked her, are you willing to stab somebody in the back? And she was like, she sort of hesitated and hemmed and hawed, and eventually got to what I think is the right answer, but it didn't seem like it was heartfelt at all. So I don't think that this chick can win the game. Melissa, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked her. I thought that she seems like she'd be able to get along with people really easily. And I thought that she, seemed competitive and athletic. And I thought that was good. But yeah, I didn't really like the whole thing about her girlfriend introduced her to the show and she's not really a fan, but she like was forced to watch it. And it made me wonder, like, why didn't the girlfriend just try out? Like, why did she keep insisting that Erica try out?
You have leprosy or something? What is
I don't know what's going on. It was like, why didn't you just go to the casting? Who knows? Well, I could see people seeing her as like an athletic comp threat or something if she shows too much athleticism in the beginning, or if she comes out too strong. I don't know exactly, but I did have her as my next pick. After Derek. So, I mean, I think that she'll do well, or at least go pretty far. And so, I understand why you picked her.
All right. Well, Melissa, you have the next pick here. So who are you going to go with?
I'm going to, it's getting harder now. But I think I'm just going to go to the next pick on my list, which is Ryan.
That's the next person on my list as well. Good job.
Okay.
I was torn between Ryan and Erica.
Yeah, I would have picked Erica probably, but Ryan makes me a little nervous. I like the fact that he's a big super fan and he's ready to play the game and he's excited and he wants to play like Dr. Will. Although he said in his interview he wants to play like Dr. Will, but he's probably not going to be. He's going to be one of those players who's not featured on any of the episodes, but is big on After Dark, which that's not Dr. Will at all. But I like that he's a big fan. My concern is, I like that he wants to be a villain because I think that's fun to watch and it's very exciting. But that seems like he's trying to force his way into a role, which concerns me. I mean, like it reminds me of Pop and Paul, where he's like, "Oh, I'm the villain, I'm the bad guy." It's like, no, you're not. Like you're putting yourself into that box. But so yeah, that makes me nervous that he's saying he wants to play the villain. I don't know if he'll be able to do that all the way to the end and win. And also I'm a little concerned about his ability to fit in with everyone. I don't know if he will. He says that he's the type of person to like take a joke way too far. And he like is the type of friend to make fun of people. And while that can be good in your own friend group, when you first meet new people, they don't know if you're joking. They don't know how to read you. It might be a little tricky. So I'm I'm a little nervous, but I figure also if he's in my draft, it'll be really fun and exciting to root for him, even if he does turn into a villain and flame out. So yeah, there we go.
I thought that he reminded me of Spencer from Big Brother 15. There's definite possibility of Pawn Star status here. The one thing that I thought was great about what he said was when asked whether or not people is overplaying a thing, he said that you can't overthink the game, but you can overplay the game. He said, you're always thinking about the game, but it's the trouble is when you let all those thoughts out, and then other people realize you are thinking about the game all the time, and then they act upon it because they're threatened by you. He's going to try and make sure he keeps all of those thoughts in. So I liked that very much. He has a radio voice. He actually did radio before. He's a great talker, as Melissa notes. He seems very, very warm. I worry that he can mesh well with the younger people because he does seem older than them, even though if he isn't really, I think, he might be like, I don't know.
39.
Yeah, he doesn't seem that much older than some of the people in the cast, but he's like the way he acts, it seems like he's a little bit more of a dad, a little bit more like Andrew. The other thing that he said is that he snores really loudly, and he's going to look for the smallest bedroom so that he annoys the fewest amount of people. I mean, something like that would bug the living hell out of me, and I don't know how these people are going to be, but so much of your placement in the house, and I think he even noted this in his interview, is dictated upon who is in the house with you. So if there are people who are deep sleepers and they don't care, then it may not be an issue. But if they are light sleepers and they just can't live with them, then it might be a real issue. He seems to be very concerned by it. The one thing that I seen was totally impractical was wanting a ride or die from the other side of the house. He said it's never been done before. I'm like, there's a reason it's never been done before, dolt, because it doesn't work. You can't have a ride or die from the opposing side of the house. And I don't know, like, how are you going to keep that person safe unless you're the HOH? You can try to steer the HOH away from that person, but you can't keep them totally safe. And there's going to be obvious distrust there between the two alliance partners, because if you're with your quote unquote fake alliance with the other side of the house, then it's, obviously the person you're secretly allied with is going to assume that you're really with them and not with them. And it's just going to blow up in your face. So I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, it was a little weird when he was like, I want to do something that's never been done before. It's when two people get into an alliance that nobody knows about, and they're on like different sides. I was like, you mean like the original Secret Alliance, like Daniel and Jason maybe, or maybe like when Dan and Memphis got together after being on opposing sides. I feel like this may have been done before a little bit. But I mean, I like the idea, obviously, but as Brent points out, like, there's a reason it's never worked out the way that everybody fantasizes it would, because I think anybody like fantasizing about going to the Big Brother house will think, yeah, finding a secret alliance member that's on the other alliance would be just perfect. But there's a reason that doesn't work, because you just met these people and it's hard to maintain that trust.
But it'd be so fun to watch. It would.
Ryan says all the right things apart from that secret alliance thing, but he calls out Peter as somebody that made mistakes in the game, although he calls him Peter Klein. I don't know where that came
I know,
from.
right? Peter Klein. Oh my God.
I guess Peter Klein, brother of Adam Klein.
Okay.
He recognizes that Tim made a lot of mistakes in the game, which is something that I think goes past a lot of big fans of the show. So I enjoyed that as well. He doesn't want to show how much knowledge he has. He seems very smart. He seems very well suited to the game in terms of his intellectual ability. The problem is, he is a 39-year-old family man with a big beard, and I don't see how he's going to relate to these younger people. I don't think he's going to fit in very well. I think his best case scenario is if he downplays the super fan side, the troll side, and talks up his family a lot, and just he's the family man, he's the big bearded family man, and everyone kind of likes him and includes him on some things, and then starts to make some kind of strike toward the latter half of the game. But I don't know if he can wait that long. I think he's going to start to get aggressive, and I think he's going to start to make some people nervous, especially if he's not like best friends with them, because he's not a 26-year-old,
How great would it be to have an alliance with Ryan and Andrew and Rosina?
Well,
just like the family alliance or something.
I do think Andrew would appreciate Ryan's humor. I think that the two of them could get together as an
That'd be awesome.
outsider alliance, and somebody like Johnny could see that and work with them. I think that could happen. And Paris might also as well be like, hey, I like these misfits. That would be a lot of fun. It's just and I do think it's possible, but it's not as likely. You know, that sort of thing, it happens in our dreams, but it very rarely actually comes true in Big Brother. So that's my concern. But Ryan seems like a great guy. I'm excited to watch him on the show. He had a friend of his reached out to me and said like, hey man, this guy's a super fan. He's been watching this whole time. He knows about the podcast.
Wow.
And would love to, he was like, please pick him for your draft. I'm sorry I didn't.
Oh, whoops. Oh God, I have ruined it for him. He's never going to win now.
But excited to see Ryan compete on the show. Hopefully he will surpass our expectations. But Brent, you have the next couple of picks here.
Okay, rather than tell you who I'm going to pick, I'm going to play a little clip. So this is the person who I'm picking next. Just listen and feast your ears on this. Okay.
For them that you're on this show? I don't know what you're going to think when they all find out. My mom know, obviously, now. Yeah. But,
what did he even say? Did you even understand that? I can't even understand him. I'm going to pick him in my draft. Can you believe it? I'm picking Will Kenny. I thought he was from Ireland, not from Newfoundland. Like, his accent
He
is
does sound Irish.
So the hell out there. Like, I was stunned. I mean, first of all, they're going to keep this guy around for a while, okay? Because you're not going to get rid of a guy like this. He is so much fun. I love his accent. Oh my God. When they said, he's like, I'm a bit of a chammer. Like,
like what?
I'm like, oh, please take me now. Take me now. Oh, he was, I mean, like, I can't believe this is how you know I've learned Taran, because I wanted to pick him number 1. And I said, you know what? He's going to be there later on. Brent, just hold it. Like, don't show your wad in 5 minutes. You can hold it. So here we are. We're at the 50-minute point, and we're finally to the guy that I really wanted to pick. He just seems like a ball of fun, and I think that the house is not going to get rid of him. I can't imagine him really plotting against anybody to the point where they would take a second look at him and go, you know what, we really need to get rid of you. He seems like he has a little bit of a gut, not a big one, but enough of a gut where I don't think he's going to be looked at as somebody who is, overly strong, overly physical. And I feel like that he might have, we're looking for people who have shots to win the game. I mean, obviously John Party won the game, not with as thick of an accent as this, but an accent. And people just felt good about giving him their vote because he's a cool guy. I feel like this guy could kind of blunder his way to the end and somehow win a jury vote. So I'm going to pick him, and I'm going to win.
I have a little bit of an out there comparison for William. I feel like if you watched Australian Survivor, I feel like he's a slightly less devious and slightly less charismatic Luke from Survivor Australia. I just got that vibe from him, like this father. He loves his kid, and he's gonna be there, and he just has that sort of that attitude. And I hope that he gets more devious and he gets more Luke-like as the season goes on. That would be very entertaining for me. But I didn't. It's hard to read William. He seemed in his Big Brother Canada official video, he seemed a little aggressive. He seemed a little bit a little forward, and I was like, oh, this might not work for you. But when he was talking in the other interviews, he seemed a bit more laid back. And I think that is where he needs to be. I think that he's going to come off as intimidating. He's got tattoos. He's a big guy. And if he comes off as aggressive in any way, I could see him being the main target of the Bro Alliance that I think he will definitely be a part of. So that's my concern for William. What do you think, Melissa?
I love his accent. It's very fun to listen to, even though I can't really understand what he's saying. And he seems really likable. He seems like he'll get along with people. He's good looking. But he doesn't seem to know the show at all. And he also, when asked, why are you doing this? He said, to do something new and give it a try, which is really lame. So it seems like he has absolutely no drive in the game, which kind of is disappointing. So, but I could see him going far. I mean, it's, especially if he joins up with the other guys and, or wins a lot of challenges. I think he could go pretty far, but I just didn't see the desire to win. And also, did you see how Luke in the chat said that asking someone to pick your friend in the draft from Taran is like asking someone to bless your child?
I'm
so
funny.
funny.
There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like upset that Brent stole Kirsten from me.
They're gonna be like, Taran, why didn't you pick them? They would have won.
By the way, Will Kenny, his accent is so thick that when asked about his play, like what's your strategy in the game, what's going to be like, he's like, well, I can't even do his accent, so I'm not going to try. But at one point he goes that halfway through the game he knows he's going to have to make a big gay moose. It was big game moves, but it comes off like big gay moose.
A big gay moose.
Yeah, I know, right? It just cracks me up. Like I'm telling you, he could totally win.
Oh my gosh!
I just I'm so here for him. He looks like he sounds like he's smashed the entire time, just the way he talks. And I think these kids are just going to eat it up.
That accent's so wild.
Brent, you have one more pick here.
Oh yes. Okay, we're into the dregs now. I have to tell you, literally, yeah. I could pass on all 6 people left. So I'm looking for someone who could win the game, not because I think there's somebody here who I think could make it very far in the game. So I am going to go against Taran's advice because Taran doesn't even think this guy's going to make it in the house. But I'm going to pick Mikey.
All right.
Mikey, because that's my gut. I've been voting for Mikey, and I'm going to pick Mikey. Okay, look, let me say a couple things about him. I know some people are getting on me about Mikey. He said the thing that is maybe a joke, Trump-inspired, where he's like, make Big Brother Canada great again. First of all, I think it was a joke. I don't really believe that he necessarily aligns with any political ideology that he was trying to force onto people. I think it was just a really bad attempt at humor. Obviously, if he gets in the house, he's going to need to work on that because it didn't come off very well. But I really think that he seems very, very fun. Again, I'm looking for somebody who can command a jury vote should they get to the end. I don't think any of the 6 people left on the list, besides one, are necessarily going to make it far in the game. I think all of them are pretty terrible, actually. But here's the thing: if the cards go right for him, if he gets immunity, first of all, he's got to get voted into the house. So I could be down a player, on the second night, Big Brother Canada. He's got to get voted into the house over Marin, and then hopefully they'll give him immunity for the first week. And after that, maybe he can make something happen. Maybe the alliance, whatever majority alliance is in the house, starts to distrust themselves and needs him for a vote, and he's off to the races. So that's the best scenario that I can come up with for him. He does seem like he is naturally suited for this game. He is a real estate agent in real life, uses a lot of manipulation in real life. He's willing to knock on 100 doors and get that 101st person that says yes. So he seems tenacious, and that's what you have to do to win this game. So I'm going to go Mikey.
All right. Yeah, I will say I think Mikey has no chance of entering the house. I think that this was in many ways set up for Marin and Kirsten to enter the game. So I'm not super convinced that he's even going to enter the house, but I do actually think I'd like to see him over Marin, to be honest. I think that he will be more fun on TV. I think that it would be that's another thing of Kirsten entering the game. If she enters the game with red clothes next to Marin, dressed in white, who's like this chill dude, I think that's even worse for Kirsten.
Danger.
Yeah. So I would like to see Mikey enter the house, but I don't think it's going to happen. And even if it did, he doesn't necessarily seem like the kind of guy that's going to make it far, especially if he comes in as a devil a week late. So that's where I stand with Mikey. What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah, I'm nervous for his chances of entering in, which is why I really wasn't going to pick him yet. And I'm also nervous because he seems like he's ready to play a big, flashy game. And I feel like when you go in thinking that, you're not going to do very well. And and people are going to recognize that that's what you're doing and they're not going to be into you. So yeah, I'm a little torn on him because at the same time, I like the idea of people who want to go in and play a big flashy game. So I just don't know if he could win. He does talk about how he wants to. He was like, I'm not going to form relationships. I'm not going to do this and that. And I was like, oh, that's going to be tricky. And he was like, but people are going to think that I'm forming relationships and think that I'm doing this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's going to be kind of hard maybe to like pretend like you like everyone for so long, but really like you have no feelings towards them. I don't know. I just feel like I'm a little nervous about him. I like what he's saying, but at the same time, I'm nervous about putting that into practice and having you carry that out to the end and win. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I really don't even know if he's going to enter in the house. So yeah, that's my biggest concern with him.
All right. Well, I believe Melissa, you have your next pick here. Who are you gonna go with?
This is really tricky. This is really tricky because I do believe, well, oh gosh, I don't want to give away anything. I don't want to let you guys know what I'm thinking.
Exactly. Don't give him any help.
Like I have a set order, and then so I have my next pick and then my next pick underneath it. But for the second pick in that list, I drew an arrow pointing up saying to like pick this person sooner. So now I'm literally
what's the point of putting him there then?
I put them there, and then I was like going back and rewatching stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna move this one up, but it didn't change the list around. All right, this is tricky, but you know what? I'm just gonna go with Olivia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Taran would have picked Olivia.
I think Taran would have picked Olivia if I picked my other pick. So that's why I picked Olivia.
Okay.
But okay, this one's tricky. She was my second pick, who I then wrote an arrow drawing like pointing up because for some reason my mind kind of changed on her the second time around. But my problem with her is I literally put no next to her name. And so I don't know why I'm picking her right now, but she said she wants to play clean and honest, which I hate. She has no patience for people, which is not going to go well in the house. She doesn't seem to actually care about Big Brother because when asked why she decided to try out, she consistently said, I don't want to live a boring life. And that has nothing to do with Big Brother. So that totally turned me off. And I have a thing written about her. And I felt differently. So I kind of feel like she would get along with people. And I could see her being kind of like the Whitney from OTT.
Mm-hmm.
And like the fact that Whitney went in the house not really saying she was going to play dirty or do anything. And she really didn't play dirty throughout the game. And she still went really far. So, I could see it turning around. And I kind of just want to take a risk with her. So I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, the biggest red flag for me was she said she was a fan. She said that she loves Jillian because every move Jillian made was morally sound.
Lord.
Jillian did not have to lie or play dirty to win. What show was she watching?
Lies.
It was one of the dirtiest players of all time, which is why she would have lost to a bitter jury if not for a mistaken vote. I don't know what Olivia thought she was watching. And I have no idea why she thinks she can go in and play this clean game.
I wrote fan and then because she said it and then I crossed it out. After hearing her explanation, I literally have fan and then crossed it out because she's not. So, well, but you know what? Also, Ariadna went in saying she couldn't lie to people and she wanted to be honest and all this sort of stuff. And so, she did a really great job.
Here's the thing, though. When I watched Ariadna's intro videos, there was a reason why I picked her. She was very charming. She seemed very sweet. She seemed like she's very easy to get along with. And I thought, like, this is going to work for you, that you are this very kind and sweet person. Olivia does not seem like a sweet person. She even says she's not emotional. And when she's talking to the interviewers, she's just very like matter of fact. And I don't think that's going to mesh with this like clean game that she wants to play very well. And she's not afraid to tell people that they annoy her. I just did not get a good vibe from her conversations in her interviews.
I didn't either, but I'm
Brent,
hoping for a turnaround. Like, I really was not impressed with Ariadna, and then she went in there and impressed me. So I decided to just pick her because who knows?
This bitch wishes that she could be Ariadna. Okay, there's no way. This is first boot potential here, Melissa. I can forgive you because we're down to like the bottom 5 picks, and I also do think that Taran would have picked her, but she's freaking terrible. Like, she's everything that we hate in a Big Brother contestant.
Oh yeah,
she's a recruit. She's a student. She wants a showman, so she's open to that. She doesn't want to take shots below the belt. She wants to play clean. Doesn't like loud, disrespectful people. Will tell them to their face if they're annoying her. And she was completely vapid. Like, I mean, how did you get on the show? What I want to ask is, so you're putting Kirsten up for a vote, and you let this.
I know it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yo, girl, bye.
The vote is stupid. Just put in Kirsten and put in one of the guys over some of these other people. It's just, I don't like it.
Big Brother Canada. We'll remember that next season if y'all go on hiatus again and you need our help. Anyway,
yeah,
Taran.
there were some people on Reddit too that were talking about this and like just how having a vote for somebody to go in is essentially like a day 1 eviction. Like, this is like Cameron, but honestly even worse, because not only are you leaving on day 1 or day 7 or whatever the day you were supposed to go in, but it's because Canada didn't like you. That's the reason you're not
yeah, it's
play.
terrible.
And so it's really awful. And like, imagine if it did happen. Imagine if Veronica and Kirsten were both huge super fans of the game and they'd both been trying to get on for a really long time, and one of them was going to get their heart pulled out of their chest. Like,
yeah, and they've done all this press too. Like, they've done all this press. They think they're part of the cast. They think that everything's all cool. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you were one of the 4 picked to, have to be voted in. And
you are never going to have a chance to get on ever again.
You can't get in after that.
Yeah. So that's it's not happy about that. I wish Big Brother Canada would not do this in the same way that I wish Big Brother US would not do day 1 evictions. We don't need to see people go home at the start of the season. We don't need
that's
that.
not exciting.
Because we don't care. Like, we don't
care about them.
We just feel sad for people we don't even know yet. It's just pure sadness.
Yeah,
I don't like it. All right, so I have the next 2 picks here, and I guess my first one will be the guy I do think is going to enter the game over Mikey, and that's going to be Marin.
Their pick.
Yes, I think that Marin he's really just another one of these, hunky dudes. And there's a decent amount of them here between Derek and Jesse and William. I think that he will have a place. There will be a circle of bros that will welcome him with open arms when he enters the house. I think he's going to have a lot more success integrating himself when he enters the game late. I think he seems like a nice dude. He seems kind of boring. And I think that's a good thing when we're like, if that's the best pick I can make this far down in the draft, then I'm pretty happy with it. What do you think, Brent?
Sorry, this is one person I have to refer to my notes. The one thing that I like about him the most was that he wants to be friends with the showmances. His reason is sort of a little bit not logical, but because he says if you're friends with the showmances and then they have to go to the jury, then that's 2 guaranteed votes for you. First of all, I don't really think that's the way it works as far as the jury goes. And he said if you can be friends with 2 showmances, then that's 4 guaranteed votes on the jury. So I'm like, honey, that ain't how it works. But I do like that spot for him, though. If he's lucky enough to get into a spot like that between a couple showmances as a 5th wheel or sort of just a cool guy that, we can use as a number, that's an ideal spot to be. That's the old Davon spot where she couldn't entertain the idea of being, the 5th wheel in between 2 showmances, which for my money, is the best possible place to be in Big Brother. So if he can swing that, then I like his chances. Again, he may not even make it into the house. I actually think that Mikey has more fans than you think, especially for the people. Like, here's the thing about the voting. In order to vote, you have to you pick 2 choices and then click submit. After you vote, like say 3 times, it starts asking you if you're a robot. So Taran, girl, bye.
I know.
And then after maybe 2 more times, it starts giving you these weird captions that some of them are so weird I can't even make them out. So what I'm trying to say is, I think it really favors the super fans, and I think the super fans actually want Mikey in the house, not Marin. So I don't even know if this guy's going to even make it. Just saying.
Well, I think it's time for some Twitter polls. So check out Armstrong Taran on Twitter after this podcast ends. I'll put up some polls for Kristen and Veronica.
Oh my God, really? I see. Somebody asked me this on Twitter earlier, said if you're going to put up a poll for them, and I'm like, considering the people that follow us, I think it's ridiculous to put up a poll for Kirsten.
Well,
I can see you putting up one for Mikey.
Well, people will complain if I just put one up for the guys. They'll go, "Where's Kirsten's?" People complained when I, snubbed Brandy in the America's Favorite Player poll in favor of Ross, because I just figured Ross had more potential to win.
Yeah.
Guys, I think I made the right choice.
I saw a lot more votes for Marin on Reddit.
Okay.
At least that was the consensus I could
All
see.
right. Well, Taran, put your poll out then.
All right. Well, okay. So Marin is going to be my pick there. I do think that, again, I feel like there's a lot of like these hunky bros. And I think that, normally they stand out as, they'll be good socially, but they'll stand out as big targets. But when there's so many of them on this cast, I feel like at least one of them has to have a decent shot at making it far. So that's my pick there. And then my final pick will have to be...
Look at this bounty of riches that's left over.
I didn't get to talk about Marin.
Oh, you didn't get to talk about Marin? I'm sorry. I thought we were done.
Yeah, what the heck? I just want to say that I did like that he said that people need to learn to keep their mouth shut, because that's been a big deal like these past couple seasons, is that if someone gives you, like, knowledge is power. So if someone gives you information, keep it to yourself until you absolutely need to use it, or until like there's a good opportunity to use it. Whereas recently, someone tells you something and you just go blab it to somebody else. You need to keep that information to yourself. So I thought it was really good that he recognized that and is planning on putting that into practice. But I did think it was really funny that he said, I wouldn't say I'm a super fan, but I'm a fan. I mean, I've watched the past 2 seasons, like every episode. Like, yeah, you weren't watching every episode. Like, why would you not watch every episode if you only watched 2 seasons? So he thought that made him like a really big fan. So that was like, I was just like, oh my God, like eye rolling. But I really liked his intro video and his I liked his ET Canada interview, but there was that other interview that got posted, and I was very disappointed because until I saw that, and I was like, I don't know.
What did you see in that interview? You cut out a little bit.
He was just really dull. He just like didn't answer the questions. Like, he kind of just like gave 1-word answers. They were like, why were you cast on Big Brother? And he said, because I'm the best, or something like that. And that was the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. He is dull. I really think he's actually really boring. And so, again, Taran, you're so smart. I didn't even think about the fact that they would go into the house together and that they could possibly be even dressed in, certain colors going into the house. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if it's worst case scenario and Kirsten is lucky enough to get into the house and she goes in with Marin, who looks like an angel, that's girl. We got
a good look.
Yeah, not good.
Not good, Bob. Not good.
Yeah, this is an instance where I am endorsing the person that's not on my JAF team. Competing against myself, I guess.
So I was gonna pick him, but I kind of told myself not to pick anyone who has a chance to not be in on the first day. So that's why I went for Olivia instead of Marin.
Good strategy.
Yeah. All right. So my final pick, it's funny, Melissa, that you said you put a big no next to Olivia, because I basically did the same thing with this guy. But I'm going to pick Hamza as my
I put
final
no
pick.
next to him too.
Yes. I just did not get a great vibe from Hamza. He just he was one of the people that, like, he talked about being very cocky and confident, but also humble. And he wants to show the world that you can be cocky and humble at the same time. And I didn't understand that, to be honest. Maybe he will show me. He will teach me the ways, and then I will understand, and the world will be bettered. But he just seemed very smarmy to me. Like, he is very like Nick Uhas on steroids in terms of just like seeming smarmy and just like sneaky. He doesn't want to throw a single challenge. He wants to win everything. He's a lone wolf. He doesn't want to make alliances. He wants to like make it through the game on his own. He's all about big moves. He wants to be sneaky and take money and punish people. He gets frustrated when things don't go his way. Basically every single part of this bio and interview, like, there's nothing here that says anything good to me. So I'm not high on his chances, but I think Veronica has no chance of making it in the house, and I have no hopes for Roz either. So just by default, I'm picking him. Melissa, what do you think?
Yeah, I just was basically quoting him when I wrote about him, because he said, they were like, "Why did you want to be on Big Brother?" And he's like, "You tell me why." It's like, what? No, you tell me why. I'm asking you the question. Like, why would I know? It, like, that was a really weird answer. So that already threw me off in the first question. And then he's like, "I'm going to be overly confident," which is like not a good thing. Like, I hope he knows that, right? Like, people are not going to like vibe well with that. And then I just put ... because I was like, I literally can't even handle this. And then also he says he's a casual fan. He describes himself as a casual fan, but he was on Sequester. He was on Aubrey Middleton's like Big Brother online game. And that's not a casual fan to be on Sequester, like to actually seek that out and apply and be on it. I have no clue how he got on Sequester and Big Brother Canada. Like, are we just not seeing something? Like, did he, like, I have no idea what's going on here. How is he casting both?
Taran, I wonder if we're being played. That's what I'm asking.
And
like,
somebody in the chat is saying, Smudmip Lauer says,
somebody in the chat, we won't say.
Yeah, says, "I know Hamza. He's going to be a lot better than he seems in these interviews." And that is my hope for him, is that he may be playing this up a lot in the interviews. It's certainly possible. It's why I picked him over, I think, the much more likable Roz, because I think he has the upside of maybe this is just kind of the interview.
But why is he playing us?
To get cast. I mean, I think that, because when you said, like, why did he get cast? I mean, I think he's cast for a very obvious reason. Like, this guy is going to be a lunatic in the house if he's everything that he claims to be in his interviews. He's going to be all over the place. I'm not getting that.
I'm getting that he's just dull. Like, there's just nothing going on. Like, he's just like, "Yeah, I'm great. I'm cool. I'm going to do great. I don't really care about the show. Like, you tell me why I decided to come on." It's like, I'm not seeing like the Zach rants where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to come in there, da, da, da." Like, I'm just not seeing anything. And also, like, why is he playing the audience? Like, I could see him like going into the house and all of a sudden being like calm after in his interviews he's been all wild just to play the rest of the people or something. But why would he play us just for the, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I feel like it's just best in this case just to read to you guys what I wrote in my iPhone. So here we go. Hamza, overly confident, wants to crush the challenges, wants to lie to everybody. No. It's like he's playing a caricature of Big Brother, not the real Big Brother. Speaks very low, not very confident, seems shifty, like a poor man's Paul Jackson. Was on Sequester, is a fan, engaged, fiance, wants to buddy up with someone who knows the game more than him, yet that doesn't really make sense because he was on Sequester and does know the game. He wants to win every HOH every week that he can. LOL, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, if he is if he is what he portrays himself to be in the interviews, I think he will be very fun to watch for the 2 weeks that he's on the show.
I hope so.
But if he is more chill in the house, then we may see something happen. People in the chat say maybe there's some Ramsey upside.
That would be great.
I assume they mean Ramsey from Big Brother Canada 4.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah,
I'm not seeing that. I thought they were talking about BB19.
Although I think he knows Ramsey from Big Brother 19.
I didn't even think of
Sequester.
him. It's so funny. That just shows you what an impression he made on me. Like I didn't even like. It took me like if you were watching my little bubble down here, I was like looking for 10 seconds, like Ramsey, the other Ramsey, who's the Ramsey? And then I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, the poor man's Ramsey, yeah, not the real hot one from Big Brother 4, who. I know somebody who was hitting on him when we were up there. So I won't say who though. I'm not going to embarrass her like that. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to get in trouble.
All right. Well, Melissa, you have your final pick. You have a choice between two people, Rosina and Veronica. So who are you going to go with here?
I wonder who it's going to be.
I'm going to go with Rosina.
Okay.
I think she's a very, very fun casting choice. I think that it's totally unique. We haven't seen anybody like her. She's, I was like really surprised when I saw that she was cast because she's the most like normal mom we've had cast before on the show. I mean, like, yeah, Karen was a mom, but she wasn't really a mom. She went in being like, I'm going to get them. I've got this. You were going to see a side of me, like playing it up. And she's just like, oh, my sons asked me to audition and, I like cooking. I like this. I like that. It's like, she just seems like a mom, like a normal person. I'm very excited to see what she's going to do. And it's interesting that she's not really a fan of the show. And they still cast her. Usually, like when you have like an older person, they're like a big fan and, they've been wanting to do this for a while or something like that. And she didn't mention being a fan of the show. She said, I think her sons were a fan. And so, I think that she could do well because no one's going to suspect that she would betray people or backstab or anything like that. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing her play. My one concern is that, maybe she's not going to fit in with this cast. That's my biggest concern. Unless she takes on sort of like a motherly role, which she said she might. She would be a comfort to people and be a shoulder to cry on, but that she's not going to clean up after them. So, I think it just depends how she vibes with everyone in the house. I don't know how it's going to be. And I feel like she's a total wild card. So, here's to hoping that she, can step into that motherly role and everyone, likes her a lot and she stays for a while.
Brent, what were your thoughts on Roz?
Oh, I freaking loved this woman. She says she's talkative, but her answers were actually very short. She didn't like blather on. She seems like she has a very fun sense of humor, obviously with two teenage boys at home. She cooks. I think she's going to integrate herself into the house pretty well. I love it that she said that her favorite player ever is Cassandra. And I was inspired by her at the end when she talked about being the person who was on the couch and how she's getting up off the couch to do something amazing, that you shouldn't be afraid, that you should try new things. Otherwise, you'll just be the person that you always were. I'm like, that sounds wonderful. And I was actually sort of touched by that. My concern, obviously, is the fact that this particular archetype has never won reality television. And it sucks. I don't know what she can do to win the game. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love for her to win. She seems like she's a blast. And I think it's just hilarious that she's on and like her two kids are at home like going, yeah, mom, get it. So look, I was a big proponent of Karen last season. I love Karen. This is in, obviously a different person, but in the same vein as Karen. So I'm a hope for the best and hope that I'm just, Taran, let me ask you this question. What does someone like this have to do in order to win the game?
I think that I don't think there's much they can do, but if they are on a cast that's older, I think that's where it happens. I think that the main issue they have is that they're so much older than the rest of the cast and people just don't relate to them. It's hard for them to fit in with the rest of the people. And I think Marissa is probably the person closest to this archetype that's now won the game. She was a 45-year-old mother, and Roz is 49. Like Marissa did win, but that's because the rest of the cast was about the same age range. And I think you need to be in the age range of the people you're playing with. For the most part, like obviously there are the occasional outliers, but for the most part, you just need to be in the age range of the people you're playing with. Otherwise, it's just like such an uphill battle, and you need something to just go really wrong with the rest of the gameplay in order in order to get ahead, like what happened in Big Brother 8 or on Survivor Gabon.
Yeah, the chat room is bringing up Big Brother 8. Obviously, that was a little bit of a different scenario, too, with the fact that he was in the final 2 with his own daughter. And also, Dick doesn't carry himself like an older person. He carries himself like, a younger person who maybe is just a little bit long in the tooth. So I feel like that maybe that's why he was able to win that season. Also, he was pretty amazing during Big Brother 8 too. I don't know what somebody like Rosina needs to do to win Big Brother. It just seems a little bit unfair to me. I get on my soapbox, sorry, but she could make the same moves that somebody like Kevin Martin could make, or that Bruno could make, and she would be, not respected for it. They'd say, "Oh, you're playing dirty, or you took advantage of our trust." When if a guy did it, it'd be like, "Oh, you're such a great gamer, you're a mastermind, we give it up to you, man." So I just really want somebody like this to make it to the end, to own her shit and somehow get the votes, but it's going to be a tough road to hoe.
I mean, for what it's worth, I think that if she did make moves, I think that if she betrayed people and played a hard game, I think people would respect her for it. I think the issue is that she will probably not have the social capital to make those moves in the first place because she just doesn't fit in with them. And I think there's a good chance that they love her because she is funny and she is kind and she's sweet. And I think that a lot of them will look up to her and think that she's this quirky, fun character. But when they go to strategize with somebody, they want to strategize with somebody that they feel like is on their level, that they can relate to. And they're probably not going to go to Rosina to be like, all right, here we go. Here's our game plan. Unless they feel like they have nobody else. That's usually how it works. So I think that's the problem here. It's really just, I think it's age. I think when you are so far out of the age range of the rest of the players, there needs to be some kind of hook that you can either act really young, or something in order to fit in. But I do think the upside here for Roz is that we do have Andrew, we do have Ryan, we have a couple of other people. And if Andrew and Ryan get together because they have similar senses of humor, they're funny people. They're also a little bit older. And then we have people like Johnny and Paris who are like, oh, these are the outsiders. We hate this group of 4 hunky dudes. Let's align with the outsiders. I could see Roz getting in with them and that being a fun alliance. Again, possible, not particularly likely, but I think that could be a lot of fun. And if there's anything that she can do to win the game, I think that is it. Form some kind of outsider alliance with as many other older people as you can, as early as you can, because otherwise they'll probably get picked off. And then you'll be able to have some amount of power. And once you have power in the game, that's when people start respecting you. That's when they'll start coming to you with strategy. So that's what I'd like to see from Roz. Who knows what we'll ultimately see, though. What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, we just have to wait and see, I guess. I don't know. I really want her to do well. I want her to go far. I want, I'd like, Andrew and Ryan and Roz to work together. I think that'd be really fun to see. But, who knows? Who knows? So, I mean,
okay,
that's my pick.
All right, let's talk about Veronica. Okay, look, I'm gonna give my best spin for Veronica. So here we go. This cast has a lot of super fans, a lot of fans, and a lot of super fans. And I think that having somebody like Veronica in the cast, who I'm just gonna tell you guys has never watched the show before, up until she saw it one time and she decided she was perfect for it. I don't know how, but it happened, and I'm not going to argue with her. She has never seen the show before. She doesn't even own a TV. So she seems like she embodies some of the worst qualities in the people that we look for to root for on a show. She is totally here for a showman. She wants to just like sort of live in that existence, and it's not even for strategy. It's just something that she wants to do to have fun. She seems a little thirsty to me, but on the positive side, as I said, there's so many super fans in the cast that having somebody like her in the cast could be really fun because she doesn't know shit about the game. So I think it adds a different layer to the game, as Carter Matt said on his site, when you have a bunch of fans in the house and yet you have somebody who can be used as a tool by other people to accomplish what they want in the game. And when does she wake up and decide, you know what, I don't want to be the tool anymore. I want to start calling the shots. So it could be interesting to see her. I think it's interesting. I'm going to lose one person right off the bat, no matter what, because I just not realized I have 3 of the 4 gate crashers.
Yeah.
I know, right?
You have a possibility of getting 2 people kicked out the first day.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have taken Mikey at the pick that I did. I maybe should have taken.
I was
hated
pumping
Olivia
to myself when you picked Mikey.
I hate Olivia, and Marin's boring as hell. Like, again, I have to like these people when they win. So, you know, all of these people, I feel like I'm gonna lose.
You're like looking back through it, like, oh,
I know, right? I'm like, well, but you know, like, but I feel like my top 3. Even my top 4, I feel like are really, really good. The one thing I will say quickly about Rosita that I didn't get to say before was that, honey, I think she's going to be there for a while. I think, you know, I mean, I hope it's not a repeat of Karen, because I love Karen. Let me be clear about what I'm trying to say. I just don't want to see that story again, where somebody's taken to the end with the explicit idea that they're going to lose in a final 2 scenario. If she gets to the end, I want her to do it of her own accord and somehow find a way to convince a jury. I know Karen said that the jury was pretty bitter. Obviously, they were, because I said that she should win, and she shut up. Anyway, Veronica, you know what, girl? I wish you all the best, but it's not easy to find positive things about her. Taran, please help me here.
Well, I don't know.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I know I'm not Taran, but I just want to say, like, I do think we're judging her a lot more harshly because there's a giant possibility that she will not be going in the house at all.
I want to interrupt you there, and I just reject that. I mean, like, if this chick was in the real cast, she still would have been number 18 for me. Like, she's
really, you wouldn't put her above Olivia?
I would have put Olivia above her. Yes.
Really? I would have put her above Olivia.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're splitting, hairs here.
I mean, yeah, we're splitting like the bottom of the barrel here, but
yes, I know, right?
But I just mean, like, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't like that she talked about, not lying and playing an honest game and integrity and da-da-da. But she seems like a nice girl. She seems like she would be pretty easy to get along with, I think. Although I didn't like her comments about being a bully or something and not getting along with girls. But, I think that she could go far if she gets in a showmance, and maybe then she'd turn it on. I think I would have a lot more nice things to say about her if she didn't talk about playing a clean and honest game and all that sort of stuff. If she just said, look, it's a game, I'm going to do what it takes, I want to win. But, yeah, I don't know. If she had phrased it more like that this is a game and I want to win, if she said that at all, then I would be a lot more keen on her. But, at this point, I don't even think she's going to get in. So,
Taran, the chat room is going berserk over the fact that I could lose. They're saying 3 people in one night. It's actually like 2 people in one night, but maybe 3 people in the first week, I guess. If 2 people don't make it in and then somebody else in my draft is evicted, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, look, here's the thing. I wanted to take Kirsten. I almost felt like it was incumbent upon me to do so. Like, I didn't want to let her fall below number 7 in the draft. And then I made the mistake with Mikey and I got dumped on Veronica. So there you go. It happens.
Yeah. The second I saw Veronica's video, I immediately was just like, this is a first boot. This is 100% a first boot, especially for Big Brother Canada. It fits so well with the history of Big Brother Canada that Veronica would be a first boot. I don't think she has a very good shot at getting into the game. And even if she did, I think she would leave pretty early. Everything about her screams first boot to me. I don't know. I honestly, I'm not sure that I have much positive. She handled herself okay in the interviews. She seems like a nice enough person, but that doesn't stop you from being the first boot.
Okay, so we have it. We have our teams. To recap, I have Paris, and I took her with the number 1 pick. I also picked Allie at the number 6 pick, followed quickly by Kirsten at number 7. Then I picked William, Mikey, and these 2 bitches dumped me with Veronica. So yeah, that's what happened to me. Melissa, who you got?
I've got Kayla, Jesse, Andrew, Ryan, Olivia, and Rosina. And I feel like it's a very wide range of people this time. So I'm happy with myself. Usually I pick a lot of middle of the road people. So, this is very different for me. I feel like I went off course on this one, but hopefully I can finally bring home a win.
Yes. And I have Maddie, Johnny, Derek, Erica, Marin, and Hamza. And I'm pretty happy with my team here. I got most of the picks I wanted. I really feel like the one pick that got away from me that I would love to have is Paris. And I'm still rooting for her to win at the moment. I think she's great. I hope she does well. But
I just want to ask really quickly, who was the one person that one of your opponents picked that you were really surprised by? I'll go first, and I'll say, Taran, when you selected Maddie with number 3, that was the one that I thought that maybe would fall to 7, 8, or 9. So mainly because I feel like at times she could be a little bit intense, and to use up a number 3 draft pick on her, I felt like was a little bit, it was unlike you. So, what would you say to that sort of criticism?
Well, a lot of my draft picks are based on who I think other people will pick. So, Melissa, would you have picked Maddie if I hadn't picked her?
No. Wait, no.
So that was probably
Maddie was number 5 for me. I was gonna pick Paris, Kayla, Jesse, Allie, Maddie.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Maddie at number 6. So if you didn't pick her, I would have gotten her probably.
But yeah, I mean, there wasn't really anyone I lost because of that, except for probably Kirsten. Kirsten's, if Kirsten's the winner, it's because I picked Maddie instead of Kirsten.
Well, I think if Kirsten's the winner, we'll all be celebrating. So, I really don't care about the draft at that point.
But yeah, Kirsten it's Kirsten and Paris are the 2 that really got away, and Ryan to some extent too. I was going to pick Ryan, but I'm happy I got the picks I got here.
I was surprised you picked Johnny so early. I thought we were all going to be in agreement on that one, but I guess I was the only one.
Yeah,
there's something about him. I think he could flop real hard, but I think he could also be really good.
Yeah, I agree with Taran. I also believe that he could flop. Like I said, he's aware of that, but he was very charming to me. And this is sort of I can't remember what the word is, but it's not like me to pick the gay guy in the house. Usually I don't respond well to them, but this particular guy I did. I just thought he was charming in such a way that was a bit understated, and I felt like the guys I'm going to spill the tea for just a second, okay? He doesn't have a big flame, okay? So I felt like that would serve him well in a social game where, people are living with you 24 hours a day. And because of that, I felt like that he has got an honest to goodness shot at winning if he can keep the kooky stuff under his hat. Not that being wicked is kooky. Anything that's outside the norm of what the house is can be perceived as kooky. I don't want to get mail. Sorry, Melissa.
No, yeah, for sure. I hope that he goes in and is totally not what I'm thinking. I really hope so. So, I would be happy to see that. But at this point, I think he's just too risky of a pick for me.
All right. What do you guys think of the cast overall? Are you happy with the selection here? Are you excited for the season, Melissa?
I'm very happy with the cast. I feel like for the most part, there were a lot of strong people. I had a very easy time making the bottom of my list, and I kind of did the bottom of my list first, and then I looked at everyone else and was like, I have no idea what order to put these people in. It was really hard. I liked a lot of people, and normally there's maybe 3 people at the top or whatever, and that's who we're all fighting for. But this time I feel like we kind of had people all strewn out throughout. There wasn't, usually when it comes to me, I'm like, oh, great. All my picks have been taken. I have nothing. But this time I feel like I had a decent amount of people to pick from that I still liked. So I think that it's a really good cast. I'm really excited that they have so many super fans, and especially the fact that they have a lot of really strong women on the cast. That's very exciting. So, I'm hoping that there's a lot of gameplay and a lot of fun, and I'm very excited.
The one mistake that I think we made, if I could have like possessed you for a second, when you picked Andrew over Derek, I feel like that's the if I think that Derek has a real shot to win, and I don't really feel like Andrew has a real shot to win, so I feel like that may be the one chink in our armor.
I was very concerned Melissa was going to pick Derek, but when she took Jesse, I was like, I might have a chance here.
I was very close to picking Derek in the beginning. Like when I was first watching his interview, I really liked him. I really did. I really wish I didn't read that written interview with him, because that really just turned me completely off. He was like, I don't know if I can be away from my phone for so long, but it'll show me what kind of man I am. It's like to be away from your phone, like just because you want to check Instagram. I don't know. I just it made me just not like him as much. And I was really disappointed because I was very excited about him when he first showed up.
That's how it goes. I'm very excited about this cast. I like that there are a lot of fans. I don't know how big fans they are, on the whole. A lot of them didn't get into too much detail, but I like that there's a lot of fans. I think that's a really good thing for this season. I think that obviously there's a lot of potential that Big Brother Canada does a lot of twists and they make things very difficult for gameplay to happen. But I think there's a lot of potential here in this cast. I think a lot of these people are going to want to play the game hard, and a lot of them are very hungry for the win. And I could see this being a season where there's a lot of flips, there's a lot of stuff happening. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very excited to see what this cast does. Brent, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. Like I said at the top of the show, I'm very excited about the women in this cast this year. They really blew me away. A lot of hungry chicks who are looking for the win, and I am rooting for them mainly because I got a few of them in my draft. Actually, I've got 2 of my top 5 in my draft, so I was really psyched about that. Both Paris and Allie. And obviously Kirsten, which again is a wet dream. Like if that happens, then they'll just shut it down. So it'll be fun. I'm very excited about the season of Big Brother Canada, and I am sort of annoyed about the fact they put Kirsten up for a vote. On the other hand, I feel like they put up a really weak opponent against her. I'm more concerned about what Taran said about her going into the house, particularly in red against somebody wearing white. I'm hoping that they just wear regular clothes and that. Yeah. But on the other hand, there's so many super fans in the cast that they're going to know that this is an Allison White thing and that these 2 people won a vote of some kind. Like they're not going to buy this Allison I don't know. They just dropped me in and, I don't, that ain't going to work. So how are they going to respond to that? I wonder.
Yep. Not well, I think. I think Kirsten has an uphill battle, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to pay attention to that as we move forward with our Big Brother Canada coverage. The season will start next Wednesday, the 7th, and we will be live after the episode to recap everything that's going on with it. And of course, the Big Brother live feed updates will be back every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. I will be updating you on what's happening on the Big Brother Canada 6 live feeds. So keep on the lookout for that as well. Do we have team names here for our draft teams?
I'm doing Team Frankenstein again.
Again?
Because I'm putting together different combinations every time. And one of these times it's going to come alive and win.
She's going to run it in the ground, Taran.
Brent, do you have an idea for a team name?
I do not. Thanks for putting me on the spot. But I will call it team. I wish we had asked the chat room earlier. We're gonna call it team. Oh God, Team Trainwreck. Let's just go with that.
The JP strategy.
Yeah. Is that what he called it? I forget. Yeah,
I think he did actually.
Yeah, possible.
2 unoriginal names. I guess I have to follow suit.
I'm trying to look for a way where I could note the fact that I'm likely to be down 2 people right off the top. So I don't know how to quantify that in a phrase. Maybe the chat room can help me out while you give us your name, Taran.
How about Team Please Stop Me? I like that. All right. So do you guys have anything else that you want to bring up? We also need a hashtag for this episode. So if you guys have any ideas for that as well, let us know. Any final thoughts on the preseason?
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Obviously, you can find me at One Lucky Gay, one spelled out, and I'm doing the recap with Liana Boris and Mike Bloom to talk about a very eventful episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. And we are taping tomorrow, and you should have that either tomorrow night or Sunday morning.
All right. Well, we've also got lots of Survivor coverage happening. Rob is obviously doing his thing. We released the final episode of First One Out to thunderous confusion, I think is the right response. It's very, very fun. I think people have enjoyed it. It's very, very different. There's a bit at the end, quite a bit at the end that is very, very probably like unlike anything you've ever heard on a podcast. So check out the final episode of First One Out. I will also be appearing on the Survivor B&B with Liana Boris and Mike Bloom this week. So make sure you stay on the lookout for that. I also just recorded Ninja versus Ninja recap with Lita, my American Ninja Warrior recap, her partner. That was a lot of fun. And we might be coming back to you with a Survivor draft at some point. We'll see. There's 18 people left in the game, and my spoilers are done. First one out. The first people out are gone.
Right. By the way, I found a name. Okay, and she's not gonna play like this chick, but I can dig the name. So the chat room wants me to go with hashtag Canadian Meech. Or is that the word they want to use for the podcast? I thought they were giving me that as a name for my team because I have Kirsten and she's a super fan. Like, I
don't know.
Are you gonna put all your eggs in one basket?
I'm thinking, well, but they could all be Canadian Meech. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna say it's fate. And even though you're gonna use that as the hashtag, then I'm gonna make it my team name. So my team is Canadian Meech. That is it.
Man,
I'm living for it.
The RHAP patrons. The first Brent steals Kirsten from me, then he labels her the Canadian Meech. Really doing Kirsten dirty.
Hey, at least she'll make the jury. Then I'd be thrilled with that.
All right. So yes, we may do a Survivor draft. We'll see. It might be happening, might not be happening. We'll try to make it happen. And of course, check out the Taran show. I just spoke with Hoodie Allen, a rapper.
Wow.
Yes, who got into Big Brother during the Celebrity Big Brother, and we chatted about rapping and music and his life. He worked at Google too, so very interesting guy. Made it big in the rapping game. So we talked about lots of fun stuff. And speaking of older person on a cast, I'm also in talks with somebody who should be very fun if I get her pinned down. I'm hoping this happens. She has confirmed to me that she wants to talk to me soon, maybe next week. We might have a Rennie podcast. So, yes,
yay.
Very excited about that.
Yay, she's still alive. I'm here for it.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for checking this out. Again, we've got plenty of great coverage headed your way. I'm sure Rob will be talking about this cast as well before we get this season going. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. For Brent and Marissa, I'm Taran Armstrong. Hashtag Canadian Meech. I'm sorry, Kirsten. We'll see you next time.